Good evening and welcome to the summit. Hi, I'm Joey McWilliams, and you are watching MidwestSports.net here in the studio for MidwestSports.net. We're live on the YouTube channel tonight, MidwestSports.net, and also we are live on the Twitter feed, the OklahomaSports.net Twitter feed. Definitely want to stay close to home with our guest tonight, and it is a very special guest, the commissioner of the Sooner Athletic Conference, Stan Wagnon. And Commissioner, I really appreciate you coming on, number one, but also it hurts my heart that we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about tonight, but I think there are things that need to be addressed, and I really wanted to give you the opportunity to do that as you are the commissioner of the Sooner Athletic Conference with teams in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Kansas, and just a wide array of schools that are affected by the things that have been coming to the forefront over the course of the day. It goes back to the COVID-19 virus. I know that's been in the news. It has another name, but I'm not sure what words I can say that will get me banned or booted or excommunicated from YouTube. So we'll just say COVID-19 and talk about that. Throughout the day, news just keeps coming out. And Commissioner, it has literally been hour by hour and almost minute by minute as to the updates as what's happening in the college landscape and the college world. And it has so much of an impact on small college sports. So I wanted to let you talk about that right now and talk about the Sooner Athletic Conference, as we just got word from the SAC a few moments ago as to what is happening within the SAC.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Joey. Certainly wish it was under better circumstances, but it has been a crazy couple of days, really in the country, but especially in the world of intercollegiate athletics. We're seeing some things happen that I would have guessed I could have gone my whole lifetime and not seen some of these things happen. And so really been kind of a crazy couple of days, really, especially this day. We woke up knowing that we had some decisions to make. We put our heads together, made some decisions that we thought were going to be in the best interest of the conference. And even after doing that today, things changed before we could even get the word out. We got back together, convened with all of the presidents of the 11 member institutions in the conference. And as you see there in the press release, the Sooner Athletic Conference felt at the end of the day that the right thing to do was for us to suspend both play and practice for all of our sports. In the NAIA, we've got 11 member schools that are full-time members. We've got 4 per sport members in football and 4 more in wrestling. And so at the end of the day, we felt like, given all of the latest developments and also the circumstances that our schools are dealing with on their campus, online classes, things of that nature, we felt like suspending both play and practice indefinitely was the right thing to do. We're certainly hopeful that at some day soon we'll be able to look up and say, hey, it looks like there's a certain date we'll be able to return to practice, and there's a certain date we'll be able to return to playing games. But as it is, we're just committed to communicating and monitoring and watching as this develops on a day-to-day basis. But certainly with some of the things that happened, the NAIA canceling its winter championships, men's and women's basketball, we had 7 teams that were on their way to compete there. So it's so disappointing on so many levels. It's very impactful on a lot of different levels, and yet at the same time, what we're trying to do is in the best interest of our various constituents. I mean, it starts with our student athletes. We're trying to make sure that we're looking out for their health, their safety, their well-being. But then beyond that, we're looking out for our staff members. And then ultimately it trickles down to the public at large, the communities that give so much support to the programs we have. And of course, we're not unique in this. This is something where we've been trading communication with commissioners all over the country in the NAIA all day long, the national office staff up in Kansas City. And, not just in the NAIA, I'm sure they're doing the same thing, NCAA, same thing, Major League Baseball, NBA, obviously. So this has really been kind of a far-reaching deal and kind of a historic day in a lot of ways.
It really has, and I agree with you. I never would have thought I'd seen a day like this, and been following sports, covering sports for so long, and this is just, it's really impactful, and quite frankly, I don't like it at all. And it's very frustrating on so many levels, as you mentioned. Well, the NAI came out first as a national affiliation to announce that the winter championships had been canceled, and that included championships that were already in progress. So pretty much done immediately at that point in time. And then the NCAA followed suit. There were a number of pieces of information that had come out over the course of the day from yesterday to this morning that, even Division II, Division III, regional competitions would continue, but there would just be a limited amount of crowd that was there. Ultimately, the decision to pull the plug on the winter and spring championships in the NCAA was what went forward. This includes also March Madness, Division I, women's and men's basketball. Some of the national media were saying that the decision like this was inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of words to describe a decision like that, and it's easy for people to kind of pick it apart and arrive at a place of, man, this is an overreaction. This is too much. But when you really start to peel the layers on this thing, it really is a complex issue. There's a lot of different things you're trying to accommodate, and then the other thing is you make one decision, and then you look at the next decision in light of that decision, and it kind of has a snowball effect. And I think that's what we saw play out. The one thing that where there's still some difference, and again, it changes every day, every hour, even after as I was talking with our presidents about what to do with our sports, the NAI announced that they've canceled their national convention, which we were set to have at the end of March. And so things happen, in the midst of trying to make decisions, there's new information. But one of the differences right now is I believe the NCAA canceled their spring championships. The NAI has yet to make any ruling on their spring championships. And so that's really kind of the reason why in the Sooner Athletic Conference, the presidents decided, hey, let's leave the opportunity there that if the NAI decides that it's in the best interest of our association to go ahead and have those spring championships, then hopefully there would be a time where we could, as a conference, say, let's salvage the season, let's bring the students back, resume practices, and then eventually resume competition. But again, there's a lot of decisions that have been made. Probably still some that we don't know about. We're just gonna have to take it as it comes.
The word that was on the headline there, let me pull it back up there again really quickly so you can see it there. SAC suspends play practices effective immediately. Now, I get that. That's fine. A word that I'm not a fan of is inevitable. I'm just not a fan of that word. However, there is a word in all of this that I am a fan of, and that is indefinitely, because that does not limit you to a hard, fast date of any kind. And it gives you the freedom to extend it if circumstances do warrant, and we hope they don't, but it does give you the freedom to do that. It also gives you the freedom to come back from it and say, all right, we feel like that this is a situation now in which we can have play in practices.
Well, it's really a quickly, rapidly changing landscape these last couple of days. I 2 or 3 days ago felt like I was getting ahead of it and communicating to my presidents, and now it's like I feel like you can't catch up to it. And so it's really the pace of this thing, the way it's escalated over the last 36 hours, just amazes me, honestly. But I think the idea that the Sooner Athletic Conference presidents were going for in their decision to suspend indefinitely was just this hope that maybe things clear up, maybe things get a resolution that we don't yet understand or don't yet know, and it might allow for us to make that decision to lift the suspension. And so it's a heavy decision. I mean, there's a lot of people impacted. You start to think of student athletes, coaches, just this idea of qualifying for the national basketball tournament and then having your bracket announced, and then just literally hours later being told that the tournament's not going to happen. I mean, it's just an amazing change of events. And so we're trying to do everything we can to give these students a chance. And in that light, if circumstances don't change and we're not able to lift the suspension this spring, then you can be assured we're going to do what we can to fight for those same students to regain eligibility and to be able to have another shot at this. And I think that's one of the areas where the NAI has shown some some real flexibility and really has been a leader in many ways of looking to the student athlete and looking to their best interests. And so I would expect, and I know those conversations are happening nationally now, but I would expect that the association is going to do what they can to make this right by the student as best that we can. I mean, there's no way to change what's happened. There's no easy fixes in this deal. But at the same time, I think that you're going to see the NAI as an association that's going to try and stand by these students that are impacted and make the best of it, to the best of that we can.
Well, Commissioner, I think you've answered my final question there, and I wanted to address that. I have known you for a long time. I've seen your work for even longer than that. I appreciate what you have done on the collegiate level and the NCAA, and also now in the NAI as well. And I know that the student athletes are important to you, and that is a big deal. And you were a commissioner over a school in which my daughter competed in the NAI for 4 years, and so I appreciate that. But that's something I know that's close to your heart, and that is the actual student athletes themselves, the people.
It is, and like I said, being a part of the NAI, I think we're an association that's known for caring about the student. Not that any other association doesn't care about the student, but we're really about character-driven athletics in the NAI. And so in situations like this, we want to make sure that we handle it with integrity and that we put respect at the forefront of what we're trying to do in treating these student athletes. And so, hopefully that's what we're going to be able to do as we navigate this in the days ahead. Certainly the presidents of the Sooner Athletic Conference support that concept. I know the folks at the national office in Kansas City support that. And so I think, we're going to look for the best case scenario here with the student in mind, and just see where we come out. But really an unfortunate set of circumstances, and we just got to make the best of it.
All right, that's Commissioner Stan Wagnon, the Sooner Athletic Conference Commissioner. The SAC has suspended play and practices indefinitely as of March 12th, 2020. Commissioner, thank you very much for taking time with us tonight here on the Summit.
Joe, it's always a pleasure. Thank you, man.
I do want to say thanks to all of you for watching tonight. I encourage you to like and share this video on YouTube. Share it on Twitter as well. And please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are growing all the time, MidwestSports.net. And by the way, we will have many more live streams. We will keep you posted on things that are happening in the MidwestSports.net footprint in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, and beyond, even at this point as well. So in the meantime, thanks again for watching. Keep it on here on MidwestSports.net YouTube channel. For Stan Wagnon, I'm Joey McWilliams on the Summit. God bless you. Have a great night.